What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also host the only online broadcast in the world for dads and fathers that is co-sponsored by Dove Men Care and also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. And via that collaboration last year, since we are now in a new year, I was able to reach out to over 100,000 fathers around the world, dads and fathers around the world. So that is a blessing. And as always, I like to say, you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Good morning, Ryan Knight. You're on mute, Ryan. Now you're not on mute, Ryan.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Good to see you. I feel like the new year has kicked off with a great vibe, and that's why I'm glad to be here on the Morning Vibe. But for those that don't know, Ryan Knight, I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage to really sit down with them and figure out which stage of business they're in and help them create a blueprint to grow their companies exponentially. Myself, I'm an entrepreneur. I run the Detailing Nights, a mobile waterless car cleaning company, goes to people's houses or their offices and cleans their car on the spot without water and using our plant-based, eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And today I'm rocking Black Boys Code. I'm chapter leader here in Brampton. Shout out to Colin and Brian Johnson. Well, Brian, who's the founder of Black Boys Code, started in Vancouver and has spread across Canada. So I'm representing BBC here in Brampton. So always good to see you, brother.
Right back at you. It's been a minute. Hey, we haven't seen each other for a while. Both of us, I host a conversation every Sunday at 5 p.m. called Black Canada Talking, where we showcase Black Canadians, and also by week we do roundtables. And yesterday we had a roundtable with Mr. Knight, Cesar, Nadima Musa from Ottawa, and also Elle Jones, who lives in in Halifax, but was visiting her home in Winnipeg. And she probably blew the Winnipeg cold air to the GTA today because it's a little cold out there.
Yes.
It is a little cold out there, man. No mobile watch today.
Right? Yes. We shut it down for a minute.
It'd be mobile freeze, right? It'd be mobile freeze. And yes, welcome everybody. 2022, first Black Canada Talking broadcast for the new year. We're wishing blessings and high favor to everyone over this year. And we are doing Amazon gift card giveaway because I do see there's some people in the queue. So let me run that. So if you want to win, even though it's past, the holiday season still, I guess it's officially over now, but Amazon gift card, $25 gift card, how you can get it, whatever platform you're watching this on, type in hashtag the morning vibe and in your comment section and press enter, and we will enter you in a draw for the gift card. Speaking of, before we get our guest on, Ryan, how was the holiday season for you?
It was, I don't know. I haven't put a word on it just yet. I feel at times it was very relaxing. At times it was very new. I know we had Julianne on from Reveler at Freak. So ACBN has sponsored a section in her store. So it was the first time in the holiday season being, I would say, in like the retail environment. I wouldn't say like a full retail vendor. I know Julianne was doing all the heavy lifting, running the store, but talking with vendors and getting them into the store was really interesting, and like thinking of ideas on how to get people into a physical space, getting them into the mall, just talking with customers like that walk by and getting foot traffic. It's a very interesting space being in a brick and mortar. So yeah, I thought it was, on one side, the kids loved Christmas. They, I feel like, had multiple Christmases as COVID shifted the dinners. So getting to see family kind of sporadically, presents kept rolling in over the holiday season. So the kids loved that. But it was good. It was good.
Good stuff. So again, I see someone has put in the morning vibe hashtag the space morning space vibe space. No, it's the morning vibe hashtag the morning vibe, all one word. Take a look at the tick at the bottom, the lower third at the bottom that's running. That's how you're supposed to do it. So it is set up now. It's ready to roll. That's how you can win it. So let's get to it. One of the wonderful things we've heard through the holiday season is a gentleman we both know receiving a big award from this country, Order of Canada. And you know what's interesting? He first came on, and then he's edited his name. Now I see the CM, and he's a humble guy, but we are blessed and highly favored. I don't know. Well, I know he did some interviews for major media. And there was an article done by Neil Armstrong, great longtime media journalist. But I think this broadcast-wise on a specifically Black Canadian platform, this may be his first. That gal, you got it right. Good, you got the morning vibe right. Excellent. That he's done. So we are blessed and very highly favored to have Order of Canada
recipient.
Robert Small. He's shaking his head. Get out of here. You just put your head down.
You're making it seem like this is the first time that I've been on your show.
No, as CM. Come on now.
Yeah, CM, yes. But I've been on your show like for the last
Yeah, you've been on. You're trying to push things off. Stop that. Stop that now, man. Stop that. Well, congratulations and welcome
If Gal Bus has never heard of me before, she's thinking that I'm venturing into the Black community right now.
You've been documenting it.
If only she walked away thinking that, she cannot walk away thinking that, right? So I have to tell her straight that, hey, you know what? I've been on this guy's show enough times, right? So.
Yeah, and it's been and for a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, good morning. How are you this morning, sir?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm doing really good. Yeah, I did, but I would admit, yes, I did have to adjust that name because I said, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to use CM now and everything, right? So this is the first time that I've actually had my name with that CM behind it, right?
Well,
another CM stand for?
It's marking the fact that you have an Order of Canada. You're an Order of Canada recipient. And the one thing that's really great about this too, that I didn't think about it, is the fact that I'm, pretty much on an educational tour too, because, with respect to the Black community, since there have been other people who have gotten the Order of Canada, but this is the first time that a shocker like that. There's been four Black people who've gotten it at the same time. So this is the most that have received it at the same time. In the same year, right?
So just to go into that, Robert, I know that Jackie Richardson was a recipient. I did not see the other names. Do you know the two other names of individuals that received?
Yeah, there's Bruni Surin. There's also Sharon Murdoch from Halifax.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. So Bruni Surin, Sharon Murdoch, Jackie Richardson, and myself, right? And I think there was another individual actually too. Yeah, and Sharon Murdoch. I selected her to be on my poster for this year months ago.
Amazing!
Yeah, it's a great comment that both of her and I will get the Order of Canada at the same time, right? So
excellent. Now, for those who may not know you, because we have a worldwide audience, can you give a little background about yourself?
Yeah. Well, myself. Well, yeah. In Canada, they have no excuse not to know me. Are you Black? Are you Black? Oh, come on. But no. With regard to myself, my name is Robert Small. I'm an artist and graphic designer. I've been creating a poster for Black History Month for the last 28 years, and it's been circulating across the country for that period of time. And I'm an Order of Canada recipient as of this year.
Wonderful. Yeah. And a longtime supporter of the Dr. Vibe Show from Australia, David Hughes says, congratulations.
Okay, well, thanks, David.
Very, very nice. And we have two people that have entered their names into the Morning Vibe contest this morning. That's great. I could ask a pile of questions, but I'm going to let Mr. Knight start off with everything today.
Well, I'm always curious when we get to talk, learning about the the journey into graphic design and now creating the posters. I'm not sure a lot of people have heard the backstory. So I'm curious if you wanted to touch on what got you into, I guess, fulfilling that graphic design dream, and then also what got you into starting the posters.
Yeah, well, the bottom, like I think I'll tie it into the Art Canada recipient getting that as well. The stories I say now, right? Like when I think about the beginning of my journey, I think that it's important that me getting this award is very much well linked to the Black individuals within our community that have motivated me along the way, right? So consequently, like when beginning this journey, there was Robert Smith in Windsor, Ontario. I used to attend the University of Windsor. I was a young artist. He was an established artist. I was on a panel discussion with him, and I went up to him and I showed him a picture. I said, "Yeah, Mr. Smith, like I would like to show put my pictures on shirts, because Two Black Guys and 100 Miles was very prominent, two clothing companies that were run by Black men." So I wanted to kind of follow in their footsteps. And I said, hey, why don't I put my artwork on a t-shirt, because that would make me different than them, right? But Robert Smith, the artist, he told me, and he lives in Windsor, which I said, that he told me that, hey, your artwork is better than just to be on some t-shirt to be thrown in the wash, right? So he told me to make some prints instead. And given that I was like only 24 at the time, what he said was gospel. So I decided to make these prints, and the prints weren't selling as much as I wanted them to. So I said, well, why don't I just create a Black History Month poster? Because not a lot of people know about Black History Month and when it starts. And like, I'll give the poster away if someone buys one of my prints, right? So that's what I did for several years, for like 2 years. Then I finally wised up that people were more interested in my poster than they were the prints, right? So, yeah. So then I just pivoted, and at that time I was juiced off of Louis Farrakhan tapes, and I just wanted to make sure our people knew about our history, right? So I still feel that way, by the way.
I know that.
I'm gonna play by Louis Farrakhan tapes right now, right?
Do you still have those tapes?
I don't have. Who has tapes? No one has tapes anymore.
They're making a comeback.
Right. So needless to say, what was we talking about now?
But the prints on the shirts. At first, I called it the official Black History Month poster, because I thought that it was a nice name, it would get attention to it, et cetera, et cetera. But then along the way, and not too far along the way, like within 2 years, funny enough, when it started getting popular, people started saying to me, "Oh, who are you to call it the official Black History Month poster and this, that, and the other?" And I started wondering why they were asking me that, because I just thought it was an odd question, right? Because I thought it was transparent that I was calling it that to get attention to it, right?
Yes.
But I was soon accused of like wanting to rule Black History Month and take it over. And I'm going, God damn, if you're going to take over Black History Month with a poster, like we're really in trouble.
Yes.
All right. If that's seen as a threat, like you're really not doing anything, right? But when I started looking at it, I started thinking about on a deeper level about how many things within our community are actually within our control. Yep. And that someone actually has control over the images that we see that is within the Black community, right? And I started saying, you know what? Well, in that respect, Robert, like that's possibly what's unnerving to them, really, that you've taken a poster, you've called it the official Black History Month poster. You didn't look for anybody to knight you as the as the creator of the official. And the next time that someone asked me that question, like, who are you to call it the official Black History Month poster? I said, who do I have to be? Right? If a person has to be Black, I'm Black. If a person has to be male or female, I'm one of those. Right? Yes. So who is it that I'm supposed to ask for? And if the person has to have a trademark on it, I have the trademark on it. So
yes.
what standard are you using?
Right.
But I really did feel like as if they were judging it based upon that, one, that I was young, two, that I'm black, and the black people usually don't have take those type of stances, like have a strong stance of that I'm grabbing our image, our history, and I'm projecting it like how I want to, not like how it's depicted in the school system historically. So I think that was the issue, really, when it gets right down to it. And I'm proud about that I started off like that, but I'm also proud about how I finished, because it called the poster legacy. I've been selling it to school boards across the country for the last 28 years. And just to think that 5,000 posters each year go out to our community, and like one poster is seen by, even if one poster is seen by 10 people or 100 people, like imagine the impact that that's having. So I'm very proud about what I've done so far and what I'm going to be doing.
Well, just thanks for sharing some of the journey. And I just want to kid it because a number of comments are starting to come in. Gal Bus saying my daughter graduated from the University of Windsor. Isha Renner in kinesiology, Bachelor of Science degree. Peyton Morrison saying congratulations, Robert. So proud to be able to call you friend. Such a humble gentleman, much deserved. Gal is also, do you know Kerwin Liverpool? He wrote a book called Rise Up from the Poverty to Riches. I don't know if you know.
The name sounds familiar, but I'll have to look at it.
Gal is also saying congratulations in your award in creating the Black History poster. And
thanks, Gal.
And also to David from Australia says, you have my full attention now. My son's partner is a graphic artist, so I will tell her about Robert Small, and he will do that.
Well, thanks, David. And the one thing you would tell him is that prior to me going on this journey, and you can look at my poster at thelegacyposter.com, but while we're talking, but originally when I was like 10 or 18 years old, I was drawing superheroes, right? So I initially wanted to become a comic book artist, but when your parents come from Barbados with like $500 in their pocket and they're expecting you to go to university, the last thing you tell them is that you want to go to New York City to draw Spider-Man fighting the Green Goblin, right? So, for some reason, I don't think that would go over too well, right?
No.
So, I think the belt wouldn't came out until I changed my mind, right? So, but needless to say, going back to the backstory that I've probably told Ryan before, is that I did go to university. I went to the University of Windsor. I graduated with a degree in sociology and criminology, and to have an honorable career, like I went to law school and I got accepted into law school, but I got hit by a car when I was walking in my first year of law school.
Right.
So and it was my first year doing this poster. It was my second year doing the poster. No, actually, it was my first year doing the poster that I got hit by the car. And so I had a third-degree tear in my leg, and my kneecap was split. So I tried going back to university, going back to law school in order to finish the year. But unfortunately, I found out that at the time that if you fail one course in law school, you fail the whole year. So consequently, I failed, the criminal class that I had. And needless to say, like I found that out that I failed a whole year then. So I had to come back to Toronto with my tail in between my legs and go back to live with my parents again. And needless to say, I was wondering, I looked at the poster. I was going to give up doing the poster that year because I said, I can't be a lawyer and like draw at the same time. It looks like a show at the circus, right? So needless to say, I came back, I seen one of my pictures on the wall, and I said, there's nothing stopping me from doing this poster now. And it's been an incredibly great ride, because if I was a lawyer now, the likelihood of getting the order to Canada would probably be remote, So, so I'm glad about it.
And I'm curious to get your thoughts on, because you pretty much have been documenting or creating posters for when Black History Month started. So what has been your thoughts on how Black History Month has progressed? Has it made progress? Is it capturing what you expect in a Black History Month to like the ones coming up? What have been your thoughts?
Yeah. Now Ryan's using our private conversations to dash questions.
It is. You have the official Black History Month poster. So
yeah.
Black History Month telling our story.
Well, you know what? I think that okay, how can I say this now? Now that I'm the Aura Canada recipient, I have to watch my words. I can't run my mouth.
Now, folks, we have documentation, so you can go to the Dr. Vibe show, type in the search for Robert Small, and you can also look at other comments. I'm not just playing. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I'm going to the dark web. I'm going to hire a guy to get rid of those videos, right? You know, so if you don't see those videos by 12 midnight, you know, I wasted $500, right? Talking to blacksquiggy.com, you know? That's the actual website. I just made it up. Just so you know. All right. So I'm actually going to call myself Squiggy in the middle of my name, you know? No, but going back to your question, Ryan, the bottom line, like for me, unfortunately, the one, like even though it's more popularly known, Black History Month from the time that I started, the one thing I would say is problematic is that the planning that people have for Black History Month, like that seems to have not changed whatsoever.
Right.
So when I say whatsoever, I mean whatsoever.
Right.
Like people barely knew about it when I started, and they really barely planned for it now, right? You know, and a testament is that is like, and I'll throw the audience, like who knows, like how many events, online or otherwise, have you heard about for Black History Month? Like right now, it's January 3rd, right? It's in February. Like how many have you heard? How many have you heard about so far, Ryan?
Oh, I've heard of my own because we do our Legacy Symposium in February. So February 24th and 25th. But that's more for entrepreneurs. The Black history side of it, I don't think
I haven't heard of
anybody has sent me anything. Actually, that's wow. Yeah, it's January.
Yeah, it's January 3rd.
Right.
You know, and then people ponder why their event wasn't successful. It wasn't successful because you just started planning for 2 weeks before.
Right.
It's not brain surgery, right? And the reason why my poster has been successful is not brain surgery either. It's just because the guy started planning from a year from before, right? And I start contacting people from 2 months before and making them aware, right? Yes. So consequently, when January comes and they decide that, oh, we need to do something, like I'm always going clear up the middle because everybody's still planning something, right? You know, and the thing that kills me, you know, like Black History Month is so funny, right? Because a lot of people ponder like, oh, why should, like with Black people specifically, like they said, oh, we don't need a Black History Month. We don't need a Black History Month. I go, if you earned enough money to last you throughout the year, like you'd give that up. Like, why would you give something that actually works towards your benefit? You know, and name any other ethnic group that gives up something that's to their benefit. And you're doing it just to make people happy, to make people feel like you're accepted, right? It's like total madness, right? You know, so there are people that I know, and people say that, oh, well, throughout the whole year you should get acknowledgement, this, that, and the other, which is true. But the thing about it is there's so many ethnic communities that never have a spotlight on themselves for even one day, let alone a whole month, right? So if you have the advantage where you have a month to advertise your skills, to be on TV, to get yourself promoted and everything, like why would you say you don't want that? Well, it's madness, right? But we also have to address like the colonization that still pervades in our mentality, because oftentimes that's what keeps us back in a sort of way. You know, with respect to Black History Month, I always laugh and people will say, "Oh, they gave us the shortest and the coldest month of the year." No one gave us anything at all, right? Like a Black man by the name of Carter G. Woodson selected this month specifically because it fell in between the birthdays of two men that he respected, and chose Black History Month for himself and Black people, right? So no one gave us anything. So why would you automatically assume that somebody gave us something? Like, we couldn't take it for ourselves, and that's what goes back to the whole poster element. Is that oftentimes people would think that it's some corporation making this poster because they see it all over the place. And the thought of it actually being a Black guy in his house, packaging and sending them out, it boggles their mind. Like they're totally confused, right? Because they often think that, Black people are not capable of having that impression, so
they would accept it more if it had made in China on the side of it. Like,
yes, and that's it. And quite frankly, and the shameful part is that some more people know my poster than they know some organizations that have been around for the same amount of time that are getting like millions of dollars. And I'm going like, how can that be possible, right? Like, if I had $1 billion, my God, then people really should wonder about me taking over Black History Month because
yes, Lewis. Yes, Lewis.
Yes, okay. I have the money, I have the power.
Oh God,
finally,
great conversation.
Going to rule kneel before Zod. Right?
As usual, Robert is bringing the fire again. Just with Robert Small, Order of Canada recipient,
exactly. Creator,
and the push behind the legacy poster.
Now Zod will be my middle name, actually.
Just a few updated comments. Pastor Stanley Thomas, we're launching a Black community library here in London, Ontario. One of our dedicated.
Sandy, where's my poster up in there, man?
Good morning, everyone. Congratulations, Mr. Small.
Congrats.
What else?
Thanks, Sheridan.
No problem. And again, everyone, if you want to win a $25 Amazon gift card, wherever you're watching this, if you're watching it live, type in hashtag The Morning Vibe in the comments section on whatever platform you are watching this on, and you'll enter the draw. That's only for people who are watching live. Also, we've got Charmaine saying, yes, Robert, totally agree. More power to you.
Yeah,
Robert,
thanks,
I want
Charmaine.
to find out, what was the process? What is the process that you had to go through to get this award?
Well, I didn't actually have to go through any process. And that's what I was alluding to before, is that, because not a lot of Black people have received this Order of Canada, like I've had to inform people about the whole process and everything, because some people thought it was an award and that was given out yearly and it dissipated somewhere into it only lasted for like a month or so. And I go, no, that this is basically an honor that's given to those in Canada who have contributed greatly and have a lifelong contribution to Canada and uplifting the country. And so only 7,000 people from 1867 have received it. So like, I'm very proud to be in that group and possibly the youngest Black person, but that's another story, right? So right, I have to document that before I run my mouth about it, right? So yeah, before someone who's 49 says, no, it's not, it's me, right? So it's really important that we get involved and recognize that Canada is a country that we are part of and that we should get involved in, and that our messages are powerful. And if an individual such as myself, who has created a Black History Month poster for 28 years, is recognized by the government of Canada, then I really should be recognized by my own people with regard to support, right? Like, come on, that should be first, right? And I'm glad to have gotten that support, but it's an ongoing thing, right? Going back to what Ryan mentioned about Black History Month, oftentimes I would hear things by Black teachers specifically, or even Black people at work saying, how come, my white boss like always comes to me to ask me to do something for Black History Month? I'm sick of it, right? I'm going, hello, like he or she is asking you because you're Black, that's why. Right? So they're assuming that you would be interested in your own history, right? So it's not an insult. If anything, it's a step up, because if I worked at like Remax or the Royal Bank or something, I'd use that as an opportunity to showcase my talents as a leader of mobilizing people, getting people interested in a project, mobilizing them, educating the public. And let's say if I was working at the Royal Bank, I'd say, well, why don't we create a day where we educate the Black community about baking principles and stuff, and baking practices, and saving your money for kids and everything. And if you're working at the Royal Bank, my God, all of a sudden the higher ups know you and you're working as a teller, because all your other Black friends don't want to tackle. I don't want to do that Black History Month stuff. But you're the teller, and you do that, and then all of a sudden you're on the CEO's. You're being watched by the CEO immediately.
Yeah.
If you're working at Remax, you create a day for Black History Month that focuses on home ownership. My God, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, you just got your real estate brokerage last year, but all of a sudden you're the prime focus because you use Black History Month to elevate your career, right? And these are obvious things. So we should not cower because it has a Black label, And if anything, like I've been a dark man my whole life. I've been making a poster that just focuses on Black people, and nobody has come to me and told me to sit down. If anything, I've gotten more support from it. So I think that we just really need to address the issues that we have in our own head that keep us back in the colonization, because really Black History Month is an opportune time for us to pretty much pick up a rock and throw it in the water and and have those ripple effects throughout the whole year, right?
Nice.
And rather than cower from picking up that rock, we have to be powerful enough to pick it up and throw it in the ocean every year for our own benefit, because our children see the cowardice. Right. Yep. And these white people smell the cowardice on us too. It's not a secret. Mm-hmm. Right. So consequently, but I'm very proud they don't smell it on me. Right. Right. And I'm quite confident about that, because they don't say nothing to me. If anything, they give me awards, right?
There you go. So
calm that brother down. Calm that brother down. Right?
Roger Dundas.
You want to get it here? You want this here? So right. Those other ones, hey, don't give them nothing because they're already under control, right? So
I just want to say here, big up Robert Small from Roger Dundas.
The big
Christopher Lawrence says, Robert, how do you decide to who makes it on your yearly poster? But he says, by the way, you are a walking legend.
So I'm curious, are you able to sneak yourself on this year's poster? Are you ever going to put yourself on the poster?
Well,
one question at a time. Hold on. One question at a time.
Okay. Well, big up to Roger Dundas, who creates BuyBlacks.com. I'm very grateful for their support.
And his wife, and Camille.
And Camille. More so Camille than him, right?
Hey, look, Robert, he don't live far from you, so you're going to get licks today. So go on.
He can't answer back, so he just has to take it and lick it right now. Right? But needless to say, and obviously Chris as well, with respect to Chris's question about who makes it on the yearly poster. Now, that's something I'm slightly embarrassed about sometimes, because people expect that there's some big committee that you submit their names to and stuff like that. And when I started the poster, it was just me. And I was just selecting historical people. But then gradually I started working towards people who are presently still alive. And I can remember one person phoning me up asking me if their sister can be on it. And I kind of implied that, well, no, because it's kind of like a national impact thing. So I can't put someone on because they're a popular singer in Toronto. It has to be really significant, right? So then she asked me if there's anybody else that they can talk to. And I was like embarrassed. And I'm going like, well,
can I speak to the manager, please?
yeah.
I am the manager.
Yeah, there is a part of me that was embarrassed, but there's a part of me that said, nah, man, just tell it it's just you, Well, thinking that there's some white guy behind you that's pulling your strings. Like, no, it's just me, right?
Oh my goodness.
But even though I've thought about getting a committee together, I've always not been about it that much because I didn't want the poster to be delayed talking about who should be on it and everything like that. And it's a matter of outreaching, and I do take suggestions from people oftentimes, or there are people that have been suggesting me years prior that I consider given the theme. So it's more so about the theme. So for this year, the theme is Afrofuturism. So it's imagining Black people in the future and how that future unfolds given the creativity as well as the scientific knowledge that they have. So that's what I'm focusing on right now.
Excellent. Fantastic. Where were you and what was your reaction when you heard that you had received the Order of Canada?
Well, I was at home and I got a call, them telling me that I received the Order of Canada, and I was like really shocked that I received it. And more so thinking about how symbolic that is regarding the what I do, right? And symbolic to the community, and then symbolic historically, symbolic to my family. It's something to really soak in, knowing that in the whole history of your family, that you've only received it, right? Like over as well as with respect to Canada, thinking that you're possibly the youngest Black person to ever get it, right? And once again, I still have to look into that, right? So don't say that I did throw that disclaimer out there, right? But and the only Black visual artist, and specifically what I do, right? Because oftentimes people would think that would knock the importance of art, whether it be visual arts, dramatic arts, and think that's something that entertains us. But no, it's something that empowers us, right? And to think, and with respect to my poster, like I still think about how powerful it is that like a 5-year-old Black child would be going to kindergarten and seeing my posters on the wall, like all 30 of them, and seeing them there on a daily basis, and how that felt when I was 5 years old and that wasn't there. Right. Like that, the difference in their self-esteem. And once again, going back to just Black people like stepping up, like, like when you're thinking about doing stuff for Black History Month, if you're just starting to plan about it now, right? Like just purchase my posters and put them up on the wall, right? Like that should be the first, like in my mind, all bias aside, like a first step of empowering our community. Because imagine if you go the city of Toronto downtown, you go to a school, then you go to a library, then you go to a library in London, Ontario, and you see that poster in all of those 4 places, right? That's like a compounded message at all of those places. And then you start thinking, hey, like, you know what? I was just in London, Ontario. They just opened up a Black library there, which they're doing in February, right?
There you go.
So I'll plug that for Sandy and everything.
There you go.
Right. And then they have those posters there. And then I went to Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I seen another one of it, right? So to me, like going back to my superhero days, and I really feel like creating these posters, like I'm putting up a force field for our self-esteem.
Everywhere. You know what? You need to trademark that, my brother. Force field for our self-esteem. And if you don't do it, I'll use it. So you better take it quick.
So hey, I still have guys on the dark web. So
and more comments are coming in. So we're gonna put them up. And now I'm gonna put this up. I don't like to be self-serving, but David from Australia says, "Can I nominate Dr. Vibe to be on your poster in the future?"
Yeah, there you go. You're putting me on the spot, David, right?
Nicole Waldron says, congratulations, Robert. Ray
Yeah,
McMillan
thanks
from
for going to
McMillan Group
support.
says, congratulations.
Yeah.
Christopher saying, seeing that
No,
you are 2 years away from 30 years in your craft, what is next for Robert Small?
Yeah, yeesh. Yeah, 30 years is a long time, boy.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's a good thing I started when I was 20, when I was like 25. Yeah. So yeah, so it's been a lot. Well, actually, what's next is one, I'm going to be continuing doing the poster, obviously, but I'm going to be shifting the poster because I'm going to be focusing, like featuring more of the artwork of different Black artists than myself, right?
Nice.
So that's one thing. And I'm going to be focusing more on the graphic design layout for it. But also, I'm creating an app that's hopefully going to be out before February. That's called Afrotastic. And with this app, it's basically a quizzing game as well as an educational app on Black history, both in Canada and around the world. So
Wow.
there are questions on like Black sitcom to light-hearted things like Black sitcoms to Black LGBTQ community.
Wow.
And how and people who have fought within the community for that, to Black women, to African Canadians, and history in Halifax. So yeah, so that's on the pike, and that's going to be something that I'm going to focus on heavily in the years to come. Right. So
wonderful. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, I'm curious now. So you're developing this app. What can the Black business community do? And I'm talking to myself with ACBN, do to support you in the amplification of what you're doing? Like, what are there any resources or supports that you need to really get this off the ground and spread it nationwide?
Yeah, you know what? Like, so the one thing I would greatly appreciate is one, the support, like advertising, but also financial support too, where it comes into play, because I'm going to be, asking school boards to buy licenses as well as banks to buy licenses for individuals within the community, for individuals and parents to take their children online to learn certain aspects, because there's going to be like African kings and queens and stuff like that. So, so if they buy a license for like $15 and then that buys them like 3 modules to go through, like, come on, like $15 for 3 modules, right. That would be a great thing, as well as people can sponsor their community group, their church, their children. And we really need to be aggressive in educating our children. Huge. in our own way. Like, we can't wait for some honorable white guy to come or white woman to come and say, oh yes, like, I'd like to help you do your Black history, celebrate your Black history, because they'll celebrate it in their own way, right? And how they view it. But you have to take the initiative and empower those within your community that they are depicting our history when they're depicting our history in a positive light, right? Because throughout the course of this doing this poster, like, I've heard some harebrained ideas, that's for sure, right? And the one thing I do say to my kids jokingly is that these people will definitely appreciate me when I'm gone, because the floodgate will just open with all these harebrained ideas that my presence has stopped. Right? Yeah. I've heard people have mentioned to me about doing a poster that just features like white people that have helped Black people historically for my Black History Month poster. I'm going, yeah. So what would happen to the Black? So you don't want me to focus on Black people, but you want me to do one on like white people who have helped Black people? And I'm like going, oh my God. That's why I'd have to be dead to stop doing this poster. Because the amount of stupid ideas, like, my presence is, with all due, not patting me on the back more so, but if people knew behind the scenes, like, what ideas have come forth, that just my presence alone has stopped because I've been doing the poster, they'd be shocked, right?
Well, and comments keep on coming. Leslie McEwen from Ottawa. Happy New Year, everyone. Congratulations, Mr. Small.
Thanks, Mr.
Mr.
McEwen.
Lawrence he has big plans here. Have you ever thought about the Robert Small Black Museum brick and mortar?
I think about that all day. Right?
Also,
you think Michael Jordan's statue is big outside of the Chicago Stadium? You know?
Yes.
Sandy Thomas says, please let me know. I would like to support this initiative, Ween Community Center in London, Ontario.
Oh, thanks, Sandy. Yeah, I'll put my email in the chat, and definitely if we can hook up, that would be great.
Well, yeah, I can actually I can do a digital introduction for both of you if you wish also.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that.
No problem. So Robert, and let me ask, taking it off the Order of Canada for a bit, well, I guess we're going to go down this rabbit hole. The last 18 months have
another private conversation coming up.
No, I don't think it'll go too deep. But the last 18 months, professionally, how has it been for you?
You know what? Even though I've been able to sustain the poster, given that when the pandemic started, it was at the end, like Black History Month was closing. So I dodged a bullet that way, and then when it started closing down again, like when it was opening up in the next February. So I was able to get through it myself, but it brought the realization forward to me that I have to do things online in case something like this happened, because because there was a time that I was wondering, like, okay, is this it? Like, will people be handling paper anymore, let alone like a package that was sent by a guy that they don't know? Yeah. So I did realize I had to pivot to do things more online, so that's where, even though the idea of Afrotastic, an online trivia app for Black History Month, was an idea that was simmering in the background, all of a sudden during COVID, it just came straight to the forefront of my mind, right? So, and that's definitely a good thing, because going back to what you said, Dr. Vibe, similar to your podcast, I can reach a worldwide audience, right? Yep. And with that, $15 times 1 million people, hey, I'll go for that, right? So
absolutely,
yeah, and so then that's the objective, right? So and like going back to what I'm talking about with respect to my poster, is that you can't hand down a job to your kids, right? But you can hand down literally a legacy to their kids. And that's how I view my poster. That's how I view this app. That's how I view everything, the artwork that I've created, similar to in the background and everything,
Legacy.
So, yeah. That
there you go.
Literally is. And in addition to that, it's like I view it similar to the Kennedys and their grandfather and their father. Mm-hmm. That their father had an appreciation for politics, and every child that came forth from that family line was now given a one-up on anybody that they competed in with respect to politics, because they share the same name as the father. Right? So consequently, I would like to hope that, I'm kind of like pivoting, the generational line of my own family, that my children, and my grandchildren, and every child afterwards would always look upon what I did as something that's a signature of their family name, and kind of like live up to it, right?
Absolutely, that's excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic. This is good. Any other final things, Ryan, for Robert, before we let him use his CM for other purposes?
Well, I don't want to hold you too long, but I just want to say I'm inspired by what you do. I really appreciate how accessible and candid you are when we get to talk, and really pushing me to be better as a leader of an organization, not to fall into complacency. And I just appreciate the time you take to really guide, I'll say, a youngin, somebody that looks up to you and would not even think like, who is Robert Small to talk to Ryan? But you always take the time and you always offer guidance. And I feel like it's so needed that our elders are able to connect with the up and coming youth in the community to keep us on the right path and amplify what you're doing. I feel like what you do is so important. So whatever we can do to really amplify it, we're ready to get to work. So I want to thank you again.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ryan. And I congratulate you as well as Dr. Vibe on like all the work that you're doing, and also I think that it's important that elders in the community, such as myself, right? So when you've been doing something for close to 30 years, you can't avoid the elder tag, right? It's pretty obvious at that point. But the bottom line is, as I get older and I start realizing that I've been actively in the Black community for 30 years. That there is like a responsibility to like when you get confronted with people who are younger, that to treat them with respect and respect what they do, because you don't know like what they're going to be in the future, right? And I'll tell you the one story I would use is the example that I would use specifically is a CBC reporter by the name of Hamlin Grange, right? Yep. So when I was 25, he was allowed to be my boss at the YMCA, and I was kind of scared, right, of him being my boss, going, oh, I see this guy on TV, and he comes across like a little bit hard-nosed type of thing, and now he's my boss, right? Like I can't play with him, So I had these misconceptions about him, but when I finally approached him to talk to him, like he set the standard. He set the example for me of how I interacted with you, right? In the respect that he respected what I was doing with my posters. He always talked to me about, hey, like how can you get what's your long-term goal for these posters? Even though he really could, compared to what he did at the time, it was nothing, right? Yeah. And I was kind of looking at him and saying like, oh yeah, you're like paying attention to what I'm doing. But meanwhile, you've been a CBC reporter, you've been in the Olympics, like you're my boss. Like, why do you, I'm grateful that you're paying attention to what I'm doing, right? So consequently, I took that lesson and the lessons learned from people like Alvin Curling, Gene Augustine, Sandra Davis, who's also in the community, and various people within, and Arnold August, who's the publisher of Share magazine, yeah. Right? Like they've all taken the time to talk to me about my project along my journey, right? So consequently, I feel like how I'm discussing things with you. When I first met you, I told you that, hey, I've heard about you. You're doing really well, guy. You're like, you sure you're not too busy type of thing, right? And that's what I always say to you, to relax sometimes, right? That the revolution won't take place tomorrow, but hey, why not, right? So needless to say, I'm incredibly thankful to those individuals for helping me along my journey, and consequently, I feel that that it's up to me to demonstrate that role modeling for another generation. So when they're 53, and getting the Order of Canada, Ryan, right? That you'll pay it back in that respect, right? You don't have to pay me, but pay it forward in that regard, right? So,
hey, totally accept that. Thank you.
One last question, and I know you and I have had conversation about this before, but David is a very astute gentleman. David Hughes has a question. Mm-hmm. What about NFTs and I own a piece of the poster for a price? A very good investment in the digital age.
Yeah, David. I've been thinking about that. My daughter is actually educating me on that more so than anyone else. Well, yeah, I do want to get into that, but she was telling me that it was more digital art and everything that you have to create online. So I still have to figure that piece out. And also like going back on just on the tone of what David said, I also think it's important for people in the Black community, and whether it be nonprofits such as Ryan or podcasts such as Dr. Vibe or artwork such as myself, that we have to remain relevant to the times, right? And not let the times pass me by. So if I went back in time and talked to my 25-year-old self and said that, hey, you're going to be doing this poster for 28 years, I'd probably laugh about it because why would I be doing a poster for 28 years? Like, wouldn't it be dated by then? But it's a matter of just continually making it relevant, right? So I think that that's something that we all need to do if we want to remain relevant in the Black community, that we have to see our activism, our arts, our projects remain relevant. And that's the main reason, as Dr. Vibe would mention, that a lot of people that were around with us 25 years ago are no longer active in the Black community because they haven't been able to pivot. So I think the important thing that we have to do is just continue pivoting, whether it be a pandemic or whether it be NFTs and the advancement of art into the digital age, to remain relevant.
Excellent. David adds with a comment here. He says, I'm 77 years young, though I have a beginner's mind. I love that quote.
That quote. You know what? He was talking like someone who's 43 on this.
Yeah, exactly. But he's got that energy.
About NFTs. You're 77 years old, man. You should be riding off into the sunset. I plan to, but hey.
Well, and just to piggyback on what Robert said, NFTs, here's a little simple suggestion. Go into your favorite search engine, whether it's Google, DuckDuckGo, Microsoft Edge, put in NFT and then whatever business or endeavor you're involved in. That's a start.
Mm-hmm.
Simple start. So a number of months ago, I put in NFT and podcasting, got a lot of interesting information.
Okay.
So if you want to get a little bit of a head start on that, do that. Because it's just like a number of years ago. Could you imagine if you bought Amazon stock many years ago? Could you imagine if you would have bought some of the cryptocurrency when it was $2?
Yeah.
Right? So try to be ahead of the curve. A number of people have asked me back channel-wise, how do you get in contact with Robert? Best way is the website, thelegacyposter.com.
Yeah, thelegacyposter.com.
Sorry, let me just edit that right now. I will edit it in real time. But yeah, so Robert, one other question.
Mm-hmm.
What is a story that you haven't told us about the legacy poster that you'd like to tell us? It's not commonly known.
It's not commonly known.
Or actually, if that's too deep of a question, I can give you a pop quiz, real quick pop quiz.
Okay. Unless you're alluding to a past conversation.
No. We'll keep you out of that. We'll keep you out of the woods on that. All right, or the forest. What was the month and year that we first did an interview together? Let's see if you can come close.
Oh my gosh, 2003 February.
No, not that long. Jeez, that'd be good, but. No, so
I don't have.
For giving some history on Robert and myself, the first time we did a conversation together live was December 2009.
Oh wow, yeah, that's what.
And it's still on the website. So if you go to my website, the drvibeshow.com and type in Robert Small, he's appeared a number of times during his journey and my journey. So Robert is the real deal. He has the receipts.
Yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate
the receipts. Right? So what is going on with
well, one thing I would say with respect to the poster and just tying it into the Black community too,
sure,
is that I think that, and the message I would give to younger people that become involved in the Black community, because when you're 25, like I really relate to the energy of young Black activists who are 25 and you want to change the world and you want to make sure that Black people accomplish great things and you're adamant about it. But the one thing that I constantly say is that the one thing that the Black community needs is longevity, right? And the danger with coming into the community with a ball of fire and never expecting it to wane is that you leave yourself possibly open to it waning and it ending like in the blink of an eye, right? So consequently, you really have to plan. If you want to impact the community, the best way to think about your impact is to make sure that you're in it for the long term. Like you're thinking 10, 15 years, hey, I'm 25 now, but will I continue what I'm doing if I get some woman pregnant and I have to live up to my responsibilities as a father? Will I continue doing this if I get pregnant and I have to be a mother and I have to do it? financially, like, is that going to pull me away from it? I have to get a full-time job because I have 3 and 4 kids and I'm married. Will my mate support that? Hey, like, if I hook up with some white woman, can I continue doing this and still be legitimate in the community, right? So all these things are, and hey, if someone don't like that, then hey. But there's a lot of things that can happen in our individual lives that will take us away from the Black community and what we've been doing and what we are trying to do. And if we are not aware of that when we're starting this, then that's problematic, because you're not thinking about the interest of the Black community in its long term. You're just thinking about yourself and how good you look now, right? And that's what it's really about. But if you're thinking about truly, like, changing a lot of things in the Black community, you'll realize that it requires people to be around for a long time, because these issues have been around for a long time. So through my posters, if I'm focusing on changing the perception of Black people and create it into a positive one, if it was just about me, I would do it for 5 years, take all the interviews and go home. But knowing that this is something that will have to occur over a long period of time, that's why I've been doing it for 28 years. So that's my last speech for the day.
I love that.
I love it. Sustainability.
I can have 5 more if you want. Right?
Sustainability, legacyposter.com. And I think what Robert said is very, very important there, that one of the things all 3 of us have seen from where we're at, especially over the last 2 years, is I'd say a number of Black people do not think legacy sustainability.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to think about that. And as I encourage people these days, if you got an idea, one of the first things you need to do is, what are 3 things that are going to get in the way, and how are you going to deal with them? So Robert just listed things right there there are things that are getting in your way. How are you going to address them? And it's got to be bigger than you, because if it isn't bigger than you, you're going to fall by the wayside right quick.
Yeah, and just planning, for God's sake, right? Like Black History Month is in 3 weeks, and we haven't heard anything that's occurring for Black History Month yet. And then in 2 weeks, you'll start hearing about it, right? So I always compare it to, your sister or your brother who calls you up Friday night for their kid's birthday Saturday morning, right?
Yes.
And saying, hey, are you going to show up? Are you going to show up? Come on, I need you to show up. I need you to show up, right?
Right.
And you get off the phone, stooping your teeth, because you're going like, didn't you know that it was your kid's birthday a year before? And you're phoning the day before? And I'm going like, there's people that called me up, okay? And they're going, oh, my white boss won't give us any money for our event. And I go, yeah, because you told your white boss about it 1 week ago. And I clap for your white boss not giving you no money. You don't deserve it, right? But if you talk to him 3 months before,
exactly,
or he or she 3 months before,
they're doing the budget.
Yeah, and you're at Remax and you say, hey, Jennifer, I want to do like a day that focuses on the Black community and the home ownership, the importance of home ownership versus renting. I think I can get business for Remax and position Remax as the place to come to in order brokers that care about
a leadership authority.
Yeah, what idiot would turn that down?
Exactly. Completely different perspective.
But if you come up a week before and say, yeah, we want to have patties and roti and have like some food and dancing, but we're a Remax or a brokerage, right? So like, of course he's going to say no, because you just want a free lunch, right?
Robert, before you leave, there's a possible opportunity being offered by David right here. It says, I can write an article for Toastmasters magazine about Robert Swall and submit it to Toastmasters International, which incidentally started in the YMCA in 1924. I see a connection, and we have 300,000 members. What do you think? It may help promote the cause. We have a very diverse membership.
Well, you know what, David? You said the right words, because hello, I used to be the director of the YMCA Black Achievers program.
Okay.
Solid.
So
The only one in Canada, by the way. So, hey.
so if you're good with that, what I will do is also an introduction email between yourself and David Hughes. If you're cool with that, I can do that also.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely appreciate that. Right.
All right.
But and just to close it off, like I really would appreciate everyone's support by purchasing my posters. Not so much for me, but for the self-esteem of one, our children, and two, our community in general. Like that's something that can happen like right now. There's no planning. There's no manifesto that we have to write up, right? Like it's just as simple as getting a poster, putting up on a wall, and talking to your children about who's on the poster.
Yeah,
there's no plan that's needed.
And even for some of us, it's education for some of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just our kids.
Because the unfortunate part is, like, how many of us can go into like some Black people's homes and see our history reflected?
Mm-hmm.
Or even more
Robert,
important,
let me interrupt. Here's even a better question. How many of us in our homes have any pictures of our family's generations?
Yeah. And then
right there.
And then you have the gall to wonder why your kid's self-esteem isn't higher. You have the utter gall to wonder. You have, like, your kid is 5 years old putting like a yellow blanket over their head, and you're wondering what's going wrong, right? Like you like to have some utter nerve, really. Because you know what's going. You see it, right? If you're in your house and the only thing you have more pictures of like white people in your house other than your family than you do Black people, of course your kid's self-esteem is low, right? Like, stop being so dumb. Like, it's not like a test. It's not the LSAT test here. Right? I've taken the LSAT test. That is
yeah, you know.
Right.
Well, here's some good stuff right live. So Sandy Thomas has just bought 2 of the posters and the STEM activity book.
There you go. That STEM book is $5. There's 16 pages. You can't buy that for your own kid.
Yeah, oh my! There you go.
Yeah, a Big Mac meal is $6.59. And eaten in one day. Like, come on, man. Like now I'm back into Robert Small.
Yes, I know.
Maybe I should go back to just Order of Canada recipient and everything.
Okay.
Well, come on, man. Like, we really need to make education like a focal point for our children, and look at Black History Month as like how I view Black History Month as like ground zero for our self-esteem, to build our self-esteem, right? And just to do it unapologetically, right? And see being Black as a strength, not a weakness, right? So I continually see it as a strength, and that's been pushing me for 28 years to do what I think I should do. But if you're a Black person and doing stuff for Black history is not Black people, is not like an honorable thing. It's in your best interest, right? So you can't run off your mouth about the Indians rule Brampton. Hell, what do you care? You didn't. They're not taking it from you. They take it from somebody else. Why do you care, right? So and on top of that, if they see politics as it is, as a way of advancing their interests, you should learn from that example, not be spiteful about it, right? That's a powerful image. I love it when I see that, actually. I just love it, because the thing about it is you are watching communities mobilize for their interests and the interests of their children, right? And that's the lesson that you need to take on and just do.
Exactly. That it can't be done.
Yeah, so if you complain about all of this, this community came yesterday and this community came yesterday and we're still behind. Yeah, because you're thinking about how you're not thinking about your own interests, right? So when people talk about buying things from black businesses and everything, that is not some revolutionary Malcolm X black nationalism that you shouldn't be a part of. That's just common sense. If you go to a hair store, and the more you support that, guess they're going to be employing? Your own people. Because now you've empowered them. So if you're going off and saying how that, these braids cost $2 more at the store, right? That's only helping another community to empower their community and put their kids through college and not putting yours through, right?
Absolutely.
So all this is not brain surgery. It's not it's elements of obviously Marcus Garvey black nationalism, but it's not no big movement that you should be scared of and you think you're going to lose your job over. It's just common sense, and everybody else expects you to be thinking like this.
There you
right?
go.
So
Robert Small, laying it down.
I told you, just end it. I'm going to get on to December 1st.
well, okay. David's saying my son Oscar, his adopted son Oscar, is from Guatemala, and he will be interested as I am. Let's do this, Robert Small. I will buy some posters today. Us, tomorrow, the world.
Exactly.
I love that. And Sophia Jacob from Ottawa, big up yourself, Robert, on the Order of Canada.
Thanks, Sophia. I appreciate it.
Question. Here we go. All right. Here we have something.
Okay.
Dr. Vibe and Ryan, instead of giving away a $25 gift card, you should give away the legacy poster or a STEM book throughout Black History Month.
Consider it done.
You know what? Let's talk about that offline.
Meanwhile, he's promoting his corporate masters, Sophia.
No, this is good. No, but that's a great idea. We will discuss definitely that offline. Absolutely. Definitely. I know Rob will up that. And Hayden is saying, thanks for the masterclass and community building, priceless, brother. There we go.
Thanks, Hayden. I appreciate it.
All right. Well,
you see the benefits of just running your mouth?
Yeah, but running your mouth with sense, as we would say.
Yeah, exactly.
You have a platform to run it anytime.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I'll talk about how that the Earth is flat the next time.
Okay.
I've seen the edge.
Blessings as always. And one last thing.
The Earth isn't flat, by the way, people.
Robert and I have known each other for a long time, but I don't remember you. We were at Roger Dundas's house a few years ago. Do you remember that late night conversation that we had?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, it was myself, Roger Dundas, Robert, and Ian Espinay, and we started a conversation about 12:30 in the morning that didn't end until 4 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
That was it. No one's gonna get tapes on that. It wasn't recorded, but that was the real deal conversation. And
you can ask Ian. I haven't got heads up from him, him congratulating me on the Order of Canada yet.
He's I'm gonna leave that out. I'm gonna let you go. You can deal with that with Ian. The legacyposter.com, Robert, and then also when you're ready to launch that app, please can you make time to make a return visit for us?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely, man. It's always enjoyable talking to yourself and Ryan. You're both two powerful brothers that inspire me in different ways.
Respect.
Dr. Vibe, your consistency over the years, Ryan, your energy and everything, and and just being inspired by the younger generation coming up, and truly wanting that younger generation to shine like you have, Ryan. It's astonishing, really.
All right. Well, this is fantastic. Take care, my brother. Be well and keep the faith.
Okay. Power to the people. I'm out.
All right. Wow, that was amazing. The legacyposter.com with man, I'm gonna have to ask Robert one day, has anyone ever asked him to run for politics? I know what his answer would be, but that's a whole other conversation, right? But that's the legacyposter.com. All things Robert Small, legacyposter.com. Well, people, this has been a minute. We're going to bonus time right now, and we want to thank everybody that has come on the Morning Vibe this morning. Yes, we are going to do our giveaway now. So, and I'd like to thank everyone who entered. Now, I'm going to give another 30 seconds wherever you're watching this live. If you haven't done already, type in hashtag the morning vibe on whatever platform you're watching this on in the comment section and press enter, and we'll get you in the draw. We've got a decent number of people this morning, but I'm going to give another 30 seconds. Pardon me. And then we are going to do the draw. You good, Mr. Ryan?
Yes, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right. Now, Janet, it's hashtag the morning vibe, not at the morning vibe. Okay. The great day, the morning. Okay. So I'm going to wait another 30 seconds. Hashtag. Oh, look at this. People are coming in. So hashtag the morning vibe. I'm going to give another 15 seconds and then we're going to put it up. Okay. Share screen. Oh, yes. We're going to. Oh, okay. So tab. Giveaway. Here we go. Okay, folks. We have got the giveaway ready. So 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Our winner is Sandy Thomas.
Ew, congrats, Sandy.
Congrats, Sandy. So all you need to do now is send an email to this email address. Should be coming up.
Yes,
it's info. Okay, I'm going to take this down. So info@acbn. There we go. So if you can send an email to that or send your information or just say winner, Amazon gift card winner, and Ryan will take care of all of the rest of the particulars.
Absolutely.
And we've got that done. So thank you, Sandy. And hey, Sandy put a lot of energy into this conversation. So,
Yes.
So, Ryan, epic conversation as always. What's going on for the rest of your week?
Yeah, getting back into the groove. The team will be back in Tuesday. So, yeah, back to the grind and amplifying entrepreneurs. Some exciting announcements coming up about our microloan program. We closed out our fundraising for 2021, hit our mark. So we're going to be doing the big announcement hopefully this week. If we don't get the press release all done, it might be next week. But yeah, actually, maybe on Friday, we'll do a big announcement on the show. So I'll keep
and we will have at least one giveaway on Friday. I don't know, I don't know what the future the Amazon one is, but we also have another giveaway that's going to be running for the next few Fridays coming up. So, and Robert is given information here. There is his email address, rsmall@thelegacyposter.com. There's also the Legacy Collection, and that's that email. So it's spelled and then legacy collexion.com.
Nice.
Says thanks. We don't do interviews here, we do conversations. Well, you can call them an interview. It was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
And Pastor Sandy's going, Happy New Year. Fantastic. I'd like to thank everybody this morning. Wow. Fantastic. Yes. And hey, see you on Friday morning.
Cool. So how's your week shaping up?
Actually, I have to do some proposals on the things because there's some there's some things you'll be seeing in the next few weeks on the morning vibe. But I'll just say that I'm not going outside today because it's too cold.
Yes.
It's cold like crazy, but no, just working on some things, still sending some New Year's greetings to a number of people, doing it, a lot of them video wise, because it seems that's nice. Very impactful. And I've got a number of people who are appearing on one of my platforms over the next few weeks. So we're doing some quick calls just to introduce ourselves to each other. Excellent. To set them up for conversations in the new year. So that's it. So as I say to everybody, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And remember to give yourselves grace. We'll see you Friday morning. But also follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, YouTube, get updated in all the conversations that are coming up on the Dr. Vibe Show, the Home Weapon Conversations. God bless, peace to all, keep the faith, and remember to give yourself grace. And remember, Ryan's the star, not me. Bye.